Why your spending habits reveal your future. Most people think their future will be shaped by big decisions. A better job, a smart investment, a major opportunity that finally changes everything. But in reality, your future is being shaped every single day, quietly, invisibly, by something far less dramatic. Your spending habits. Not how much you earn. Not how motivated you are. Not even how smart you think you are with money. The way you spend when no one is watching tells a far more honest story. Because spending isn't just about money. It's about priorities, comfort, fear, patience, and how you relate to time. And the uncomfortable truth is this. If someone knew nothing about your career, your goals, or your plans, but could see exactly how you spend, they could predict a surprising amount about where your life is heading. That's why this topic matters. Not because spending mistakes are dramatic, but because they're quiet, consistent, and incredibly revealing. Most people don't think their spending habits say much about their future. They see spending as something practical, even boring: groceries, rent, transport, a few comforts to make life easier. It feels like maintenance, not a decision with long-term consequences. That's exactly why this topic matters. For many people in the US and the UK, financial life feels manageable. Income covers expenses. Bills get paid on time. There's no obvious crisis demanding attention. From the outside, everything looks stable and responsible. And because nothing feels broken, spending rarely gets questioned. But stability can be misleading. Spending habits quietly shape what your future requires in order to function. Every recurring cost, every lifestyle upgrade, every convenience you log in raises the baseline your income must meet just to keep things running. Over time, this creates a situation where earning more doesn't create freedom, it simply supports a more expensive version of the same life. This is why so many people feel stuck despite doing well. They aren't reckless with money. They aren't irresponsible. They're simply spending in ways that prioritize comfort today without realizing how much flexibility they're trading away tomorrow. What makes this especially dangerous is that the process feels normal. A raise comes, and life gets a little nicer. Expenses rise quietly. Commitments become permanent. None of it feels like a mistake in the moment. In fact, it often feels earned. But while income grows, options don't. The real issue isn't how much people spend. It's what their spending is optimizing for. When money is used mainly to reduce friction in the present, the future becomes more dependent on everything continuing to work exactly as it does now. And that's the part most people don't notice, until changing direction feels far harder than staying where they are. Spending habits don't form randomly. They are the result of how people are taught to think about money, comfort, and progress long before they ever feel financially behind. From an early age, spending is framed as a reward. Work hard, and you deserve ease. Earn more, and life should feel smoother. This creates a quiet belief that money exists primarily to reduce discomfort in the present. As long as life feels manageable, spending is considered healthy, even responsible. The problem is that this mindset is reactive by nature. Most people don't decide how they want their spending to shape their future. They respond to what life demands in the moment. When income increases, spending adjusts automatically. When stress rises, convenience becomes more appealing. When time feels scarce, money is used to buy relief. None of this looks like a mistake. It looks like adulthood. Another powerful force is social normalization. People tend to spend in ways that match the environment around them. Housing choices, lifestyle upgrades, subscriptions, even small daily conveniences are influenced by what feels normal for their peer group. Because everyone else is doing something similar, it rarely triggers reflection. There's also a deeper psychological layer. Predictable spending creates emotional safety. Fixed routines, familiar comforts, and recurring purchases make life feel controlled. Even if that control is fragile, the brain prefers certainty over possibility, which is why familiar spending patterns feel safer than experimenting with restraint or redirection. What's rarely taught is that spending decisions are not just about enjoyment or discipline, they are structural. Every recurring cost increases dependence on future income. Every upgrade raises the minimum level of effort required just to maintain normal life. Over time, this creates a quiet trap. People earn more, but they also need more. And because the shift happens gradually, the long-term cost remains invisible. The issue isn't a lack of knowledge or discipline. It's a system that rewards comfort now and delays the consequences. By the time those consequences become obvious, spending habits have already shaped a future that demands constant momentum. And that's why your spending habits reveal far more than your income ever will. If spending habits quietly shape your future, then real financial progress doesn't start with earning more or cutting everything back. It starts with changing what spending is meant to do. Most people use spending to manage emotions in the present. Comfort, convenience, and relief become the default goals. A different approach begins by using spending as a tool for positioning, not just coping. Instead of asking whether a purchase makes life easier today, the more useful question becomes whether it makes future decisions lighter or heavier. This doesn't mean living in constant restriction. It means becoming intentional about what gets locked in. One-off enjoyment rarely creates long-term pressure. Recurring costs do. Subscriptions, upgrades, and lifestyle expansions quietly raise the baseline that future income must support. Slowing those decisions down, even slightly, preserves flexibility without requiring dramatic sacrifice. Another shift is learning to separate identity from spending. Many purchases are made not because they're needed, but because they signal progress, stability, or success. When spending becomes a way to prove you're doing well, it stops being evaluated objectively. Progress feels real, even when your position hasn't improved. Letting go of that signal is uncomfortable at first, but it creates clarity. A more practical use of money is directing surplus toward optionality. That might mean building savings that reduce urgency, investing consistently without expecting excitement, or paying for skills that expand earning power later instead of comfort now. These choices rarely feel rewarding in the moment, because their value shows up gradually. The key is consistency, not intensity. You don't need perfect discipline or a flawless system. You need alignment. When spending decisions support flexibility instead of dependency, pressure begins to ease, often before income changes at all. That's when spending stops reacting to life and starts shaping it. The real impact of spending habits is rarely visible in the short term. That delay is exactly why so many people underestimate their importance. Month to month, life looks the same. Income comes in, expenses go out. Nothing feels urgent enough to rethink. But over years, the direction becomes clear. When spending is built around immediate comfort and convenience, life gradually becomes more rigid. More income is pre-committed to fixed costs. More decisions are locked in ahead of time. Flexibility shrinks quietly, without any single moment where it feels like a mistake. Financial pressure doesn't show up as crisis, it shows up as dependency. The need for everything to keep working exactly as it is. By contrast, when spending is used intentionally to preserve options, the long-term experience feels different. Progress may appear slower at first. There are fewer visible rewards and less external validation. But pressure compounds in the opposite direction. Fewer decisions feel urgent. Unexpected expenses feel manageable. Career choices feel less reactive because survival isn't constantly at stake. This is where time becomes the most powerful factor. Small, disciplined choices repeated consistently matter more than dramatic moves. Avoiding unnecessary fixed costs. Investing steadily without chasing excitement. Choosing upgrades only when they don't reduce flexibility. None of these decisions feel life-changing on their own. But together they reshape what's possible. Financial freedom, in this sense, isn't about luxury or avoiding work. It's about optionality, the ability to pause, adjust, or change direction without panic. That freedom is built long before it's felt, through habits that look ordinary while they're happening. Your future isn't determined by one big spending decision. It's shaped by the quiet pattern those decisions form over time. Most people don't ruin their financial future with one bad decision. They do it quietly, through habits that feel normal, reasonable, and harmless at the time. Spending that feels deserved, convenience that feels necessary, comfort that feels earned. None of it looks reckless. In fact, it often looks responsible. That's what makes spending habits such a powerful signal. They reveal what you're prioritizing without you having to say it out loud. They show whether money is being used to buy short-term relief or long-term breathing room. Whether income is creating flexibility or simply maintaining a lifestyle that must be defended month after month. This isn't about guilt or restriction. Everyone spends on things that make life easier or more enjoyable. The difference lies in awareness. Noticing whether your spending choices are making your future lighter or heavier. Whether they're expanding your options or quietly narrowing them. Most people wait for pressure to force reflection. They wait until money feels tight, work feels overwhelming, or choices feel limited, but by then, the cost of change is higher. Adjustments feel harder, trade-offs feel sharper. What once required intention now demands sacrifice. The people who gain the most control over time don't feel confident early on. They simply start paying attention sooner. They ask better questions while life is still manageable. They notice patterns before those patterns turn into constraints. And they understand that progress doesn't always feel good in the moment. Your spending habits aren't just about money. They're about direction, about whether your future is being built deliberately or assembled by default. So here's the question to leave you with. When you look at how you spend today, does it feel like you're buying comfort for now or flexibility for later? And what's one spending habit in your life that feels normal, but might be shaping your future more than you realize? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's often where real awareness and better decisions begin.